Assalamu alaikum dear students. My name is Muhammad Asif, and in this video lecture series we are learning visual programming. Students, this is week number 5 and lab number 5. Overall, this is video number 8 for the labs. In our previous lecture we have learned few topics in which include the implementation of an array in C#.NET framework. First, we have learned about one-dimensional array. Secondly, we have learned about two-dimensional array and multi-dimensional array, in which include the declaration, initialization, and how to traverse all these array, that is one-dimensional array and two-dimensional array. We have also solved a few examples within the C#. So now let's see. In our today's lecture, we will be starting the introduction of object-oriented technique in C#.NET framework. First, we will learn and start the structure of class and how object-oriented programming will be implemented within the C# data member function, and how to declare the object, then the access specifier, that is public, private, and protected. And at the end, we will be calling all these member, that is data members and member function. We will be also receiving some arguments within the member function and will also return some value from the member function. So now let's start our today's topic. I've already started a new project and named it Object-Oriented Programming in C#. So you can clearly see this is the structure of C# object-oriented programming. So by default the class name is program. Let me change this program to test. Class again is a keyword. Test is the name of the class, and this is the body of the class. Then we have a main function, and now first we will be declaring some variables mean data members. So before data members we have to we must have a access specifier, and which include it should be public, private, or protected. So public means you can access these members anywhere where you want. So a public integer, let's say num, then let me declare define a member function. As we already knew that within the object-oriented programming there is no need to declare a function directly. We will be defining, then return. Then after this, then we have a name of the function, let's say table, because we are calculating the table, body of the member function. And first me print the message for the user to initialize the number, enter number to print the table. Then how to take num is equal to integer 2. The parse function is used for conversion. Then console dot read line. So we have initialized the number. Now let's calculate the table. So how to calculate them? Using for loop. So for loop, let's say starting for the for syntax, similar to the basics, similar to the other languages, like initialization first, x, let's say 0, 1, then x greater than or equal to number, then x plus plus. So the basic syntax is similar. first declaration, initialization, then condition, and then the incrementation. Before the incrementation, we have a third control goes to the body of the for loop. So here we will be calculating the table. So let me declare another variable which is integer result. Result is equal to x multiplied by number. Here number will be static and the x will be changing all the time. First time it will be 1 and let's say the number is 3. So it will be calculated to 3. Then after this x will be incremented to 2 and number will be again the same, which is 3 to 6 and then 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is the formula. At the end, then we will be printing the every step because we required every result to be printed. So we will be printing within the body of for loop. Console.writeLine table is equal to plus concatenation and result. So we have declared data member which is public integer type number. Then we have defined the member function which is public and there is no return type, and name of the table name of the function is table. Within the table we are calculating the table, asking the value from the user, and then we will be calculating. So how to access these members within the main function? So first we will be declaring the object. Declaration of object. How to declare the object? What is the syntax? So first we will be writing the name of the class. So class name is test, then the object name, it should be any object, then assignment operator, then new operator, and after this we will be having the object again, the class name, and the semicolon, parenthesis semicolon. So this is how we will be declaring the object within the C#. So we have there are two portions. Number one, first one is the type of the object, and the second one is called the reference of the object. So how to call all these members? Let's say ob dot, this time we are calling the table function. So ob dot table. So this is how we will be calling the function, calling member function ftn. So let's see, at the end we will be required a read key function to stop the output window. So object, concatenation, and the name of the function. This time we do not need arguments, or this function unable to send the return value. That's why we are not receiving it. So let's execute this code. So first enter number to print the table. So let's see, we given 3. We have done some error. Let me check. We have done some exceptional error. Oh, sorry. If you can see, we have used the greater sign, which should be the less than sign, because 1 is greater than number, so number was 3, so loop was unable to complete. So let me change the operator, which is less than operator. Now let's check. our result 3, and you see table is 3, then 6, and then 9. So this is how the loop is working. Number 1, we have learned the loop, the for loop syntax, and we have started the encapsulation. Encapsulation means hiding the inner working of your program. So we are hiding all these members within this object. So with the help of object, now we are calling them. So if you want to directly call the value, let's say the data member, so you can call the number as well. Call them and print them. Console dot write line. The number is equal to plus. Now let's see. The number is 4. Then so number is 4. So we have called the data member and a member function. Calling data member. Okay, if I change the specifier from public to private, let's see what will be a change in the output. So let's check the result again. Enter number 3. The result is same. Mean the function is called. Again the private member is also called, because if you see, we have a main function within the class body. So actually we are calling these member, the member function and data member within the class. That's why there is no such change within the output of the class. The basic definition of the private member is same, that is, private member cannot be used outside of the class. Private specifier will never be used outside of the class body. So here we are using them within the class body, because if you see the structure of C#, within the class body we have a main function. If we are accessing them within the main function, so there is no problem. So now let's take some arguments within the member function. Take argument within the member function. So let's see. First let me comment this code, because now there will be no need of integer num. We will be receiving this num from the main function. Number will be initialized from the number which we will be receiving from the outside. Number will be initialized by the local number. Now there is no need for these 2 lines. Let me comment this code, and number will be changed with the local variable, and this number to number. And after this, again you can see error is shown. What is the error? So now this time the function required some arguments, which is the integer argument. So let me first declare a number which is n, then print a message for the user to give us some running time value. Enter integer number. After this we will be receiving integer 32 or 16 or 64, then parse function, and within the parse function as the argument receive the value as a string. Then n will be pass as a argument. Also there is an error because now we have comment this number, so now we do not have this number. So let me comment this code again. We will be sending any value from with the help of n to table. This value will be received with the num, and num will be assigned this value to number, and number will be given this value to the within the loop. So again the table will be printed. So let me give him a number. The table is just printed. The table is 5, 10, 10, 15, etc. Okay. Now let's see how to return a value from a member function. For this I will be using another function. As a public, return type should be integer, float or character. It depends on you. So this time I make it as an integer. Then the name of the function, let's see, display, and the body of the function. So let me take a value from the user, enter integer value and receive this value within the, let's say, y equal to integer 32 or 64, then parse. After receiving the value, we will be directly returning this value to main function where it is called. So whenever you will be returning some value, there must be a keyword used, a return. So again the return is used. So now wherever this function is called, this function will be returning some values. This time we are calling them from the main function. Let's see, ob dot display, because this function will be receiving some value, so we will be receiving it and directly printing this value. Will be print this value. So return value is equal to concatenated. So we will be receiving some value after after calling this function. This function will return some value, and after receiving we will be printing this value. So let's see, enter a number. Let's see, we have just printed 4. The number is just calculated the table, and again this is the new value integer, so let me give him 2. So the return value is 2. So this is how we will be returning some value. So you can also receive this value with the help of, let's see, declaring some variable z and ob dot display. So again we call a function, and this function will be returning some value, and the value is of integer type. That's why we declare a variable with an integer type. And after receiving within the z, now let's print this value. Plus z. So there are two methods. Number one, returning the value, and directly printing this value. Again, return the value, receive in a variable having same data type, and after this we will be printing this value. So again let me print this value, integer 4, any number, let's say 8. So 2 times, sorry, again
return value is 8. Again we have called this value, we have called this function over here. So let me again give him some value 18. So if you see, again the value is just printed. So student, this is enough for today's lecture.